Hello everybody and welcome back, where today we're looking at a brand new piece of tech, the Fifine AM6. This is a USB condenser mic perfect for gaming, streaming and recording. And it comes in at $65 or about £60 here in the UK, but it is on sale at the moment down to £53 and $58 respectively. And this microphone is a standard Fifine affair. When unboxing it, it's very smart packaging, it's very minimalist, you just have what you need in there. It uses recyclable materials, which is also great. I've had a couple of products to review now, and this was sent courtesy of Fifine. Of course, that's not going to impact my opinions, as there are some downsides to this model and its certain features. But overall, the unboxing experience is quite nice, and the microphone feels fairly premium once you take it out of the box. You're hearing that microphone right now in the voiceover. Although a fair bit of the materials are plastic, it doesn't feel too cheap. You also get your standard USB-C cable, as you always do. Can never have too many of those. And the AM6 comes equipped with a pop filter, which is very, very appreciated. Not something that you always get with a microphone of this price. And now that everything's out of the box, we can throw it away and have a little look through some of the features and the things that the mic is equipped with around the actual hardware itself. Now, starting up at the front, we have the game and chat mixer. This is to adjust your game or party audio, depending on which one you want louder, and this works great for me so far. It works for things like Discord, PlayStation, and when you twist the knob to the middle, it has a little indent where it kind of sits for a minute, so there is feedback when it hits that middle point, so you can easily find the balance to turn between chat or game, which is appreciated. Moving over to the side, we also have gain and feedback. These two knobs allow you to adjust what you're hearing in terms of levels, and also adjust the gain of the microphone, which is always appreciated and pretty much a must-have on most mics, in my opinion. As someone who games and content creates constantly, it's just nice to have these either on the model themselves or in a mixer, which is what I currently use, but the more condensed the better, to be fair, so it's nice having these built into the model itself. The stand it's fitting on feels either like very nice plastic or metal, can be screwed on the left as well and tightened or loosened depending on your liking, and the base of it can also be unscrewed, with two side threads at the bottom for basically any mic stand in terms of a boom arm that you want it to be sitting on. Around the back we have a USB-C in, no XLR on this one, which is unfortunate, but it is a budget model, and to be honest, for gaming, USB-C to USB-C or USB-C to USB-A is completely fine and provides a fairly nice listening experience as you're listening to right now. And moving on to the bottom, we have the input for headphones for monitoring, the button in the middle for changing the light setup, which we'll show in a second, and a button for turning on and off the noise suppression feature, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And lastly, on the actual piece of hardware itself, just to mute it, you tap the top of the microphone. There's a little sensor up there which detects when your finger touches it, just like most other Fifine gaming mics, and this works pretty flawlessly, to be fair. And the light at the front of the microphone will tell you whether you're muted or unmuted. Plugging it in though, it springs into life with lights, as most Fifine mics do. They look very nice. They're two-tone, so you'll have a mix of different colours. And there are several settings to this, from static colours to moving colours. I like having mine on a very, very slow mixture of a strobe, essentially, flowing between every colour. And if you're looking to complete your RGB setup, this mic will fit right in. Before we get into a couple audio tests, including the normal mode and the noise suppression mode, it is worth mentioning the noise suppression mode as its own thing, because this is kind of a selling point of this Fifine mic. In my opinion, it's a perfectly good mic without it, but this noise suppression mode is essentially acting like a noise gate to be a barrier for background noise, so your voice comes through, but the background noise doesn't. While this is touted as a big feature, I'm not that big of a fan of it, and you'll hear why in a little bit. But with that being said, let's get on to the microphone testing itself. This is the Fifine Ampligame AM6. This comes in at, I think, under half price of my entire setup with the other Fifine AM8 and the mixer that I have, the SC3. So this is basically an all-in-one package for you to have as your microphone setup if you're looking for a budget option, and it also comes with a pop filter, which you can hear me using when I use plosives. So I say words beginning with P, and that blows wind essentially into the mic. My other AM8 does have a wind muffler on the front, but its one downside, in my opinion, is the plosive, so I'm interested to see what they sound like on this. How do they sound if I use words beginning with P, like plosive? Is that coming through? We'll see how that stacks up. But this is a much, much cheaper alternative to my other setup. Of course, it's got some downsides because you can't really adjust individual levels, aside just from game and party, and can't have different inputs and outputs through XLR. You also can't have an XLR connection, but it is a very solid option, and this is without the noise suppression on. This is also with audio suppression off at the moment, but this is without the pop filter. So if I use plosives, that's blowing wind directly into the mic with nothing to cover it really, nothing to intercept, but taking it off now. So interesting to see how that sounds. It sounds really good with the pop filter, but if I use plosives, I'm wondering how that sounds. So this is a test without the pop filter. And now this is the Fifine SC3 and AM8 together, which I reviewed a little while ago through XLR connection. So this is a very, very good connection compared to USB-C. Not to say USB-C is too bad, especially for content creation, but XLR is definitely my preferred input method. And this is also with a mixer that I can adjust, as you can see in the background of the shot. It's got all the buttons I can press to mute certain things, to monitor certain things, to adjust my levels of monitoring, to adjust my levels of input and output, and also to input custom sounds or custom voice changing, which is pretty handy to have. So this is with my normal setup with the SC3 and AM8. And this is just an audio test with the suppression on. There probably is a bit of a difference, and we'll test out some more suppression stuff in a minute, but this is just purely my voice with the audio suppression on compared to it with it off, which has been the last two tests. So this is with audio suppression on. This is with audio suppression back off, and I'm just going to start typing now. So you'll hear my keys in the back, a couple mouse clicks, back to keys, and this is just to see how it handles essentially ambient noise as I'm, say, playing games or doing other work. If I'm talking to somebody in a group chat, voice chat, whatever. And that's because the capsule's facing towards me right now, so you should still be able to hear my keys, but they might be a little muffled. But this is without the audio suppression on. And now this is with audio suppression on. I'm wondering, well, can you hear the keys in the background? I'm still typing the same as I was before. But this is with audio suppression on. My voice should sound a lot more muffled and will probably lose a fair bit of the quality, but the audio suppression should take out some of the keys behind the normal microphone and vocal sounds. Overall, I'm really happy with Fifine's offering here. As always, they've got a nice capsule that sounds pretty good in my opinion. It's a little bit below the AM8 because this sounds a little less warm and a little more harsh, but for gaming, it's pretty damn perfect, and for voiceover, it's pretty good as well, and I'm sure in post you can mess with it to make it sound even better, and a bit more warmer if you're missing that from the sound. It's not really worth grabbing this for the noise suppression alone in my opinion though, because I think it doesn't really work too well. It's very artificial and not nice sounding, but if you're really struggling for background noise, it might be worth turning on just as a last resort, but to be honest, software solutions will probably work better than this inbuilt one does. But overall, I'm very happy with it, so thank you for Fifine for sending it over. It's been a pleasure to review and a lot of fun to review. Their pieces of hardware never really disappoint, and I'm looking forward to any more stuff they come out with. So let me know in the comments below whether you want to pick up this microphone or use it for content creation, or check out Fifine's lines of other products. I'll link them all in the description below. Thank you for Fifine for sending this over once again. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to our patrons, Luke Bentley, Phil Irving, Hazit Mirza, and Ace Gamer. If you want to join the Patreon or YouTube membership, the links are in the description below. Thank you all for watching once again, and I hope to see you all in the next video.